Hi, I'm Otaku Lucifer. Today on Rant 101, we're going to be talking about Tokyo Revengers. Let's go. Now, before I begin, please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. It'll really help me out. I just finished watching Tokyo Revengers a few days ago, maybe yesterday even. And it's really hard for me to put into words what I dislike about this anime. Is the anime bad? Let's ask that question. Is it a bad anime? The short answer is no, it's not a bad anime. Now the long answer is why I'm doing this video, because there's a lot of deficits to this anime. Especially if you're a person like me who have watched other animes that have the theme or the story device of time travel. For example, I watched Steins Gate and Steins Gate Point Oh, I think it was called. Two great animes that deal with the concept of time travel. The way those two stories were told, or those two series were told, was excellent. And the way they handled the theme and the concept of time travel in the context of the story was excellent. Unlike Tokyo Revengers, where it's basically a story about gangs in Japan. They call themselves delinquents. You have the main gang that the story is about, called Tokyo Majin Gang. They call themselves Toman for short, and Tokyo Majin is led by, or Toman is led by, a 15-year-old named Mikey. They call him Invincible Mike, or Invincible Mikey. His second in command is a kid named Draken. And then there's Baji, Mitsu. I want to say Mitsuki because, you know, the character has like the same hair color of Mitsuki from Boruto, but it's Pan and two other characters I can't remember right now. But the point is, I was really into the story when it was about time travel. And then I was really into the story when it was about gangs. It was really good up until the point where they combined it, because initially what happened is you have this guy, he's a loser. His name is Takemichi, and Takemichi has a girlfriend named Hinata. It's 2017, and he's a loser. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He's a virgin. He works in a bookstore. He watches a news report where he sees that his former girlfriend, Hinata, dies tragically in an accident, or it seems like an accident, but then they said it might be because of Toman, Tokyo Majin Gang. By some twist of fate, magically, with no explanation, he gets sent back in time. He gets sent back to himself when he's like 13 or 14 years old, and the Tokyo Majin Gang is forming. He sees it as his chance to save his ex-girlfriend from dying, whom he is still in love with. So the young version of Takemichi talks to Hinata's baby brother, whose name is Naito, who's being beat up by some other kids who want to be delinquents too, and he beats them up. Now, the thing about Takemichi that pissed me off is that he kind of reminded me of the character Shinji from Evangelion, where he is a character who has so much potential to be a better person, a stronger person, and every time he does something that shows his strength, he immediately reverts back to this loser type character. For example, when he meets Naruto, who's being bullied by these bigger kids, he literally beats up all the bigger kids. Has this discussion with Naruto about not letting anyone beat you up and standing up for yourself and all that. And then, it comes out that he reveals to Naruto that he's from the future, and he didn't understand why he got sent back here, but that he tells Naruto, hey, your older sister Hinata dies in the future, and I don't know what to do about it. Naruto, for some strange reason, at the time, immediately believes him, and they figure out that by them shaking hands, it allows Takemichi to time travel. Okay, whatever. When Takemichi goes back into the future, Naruto now is a police officer who has been investigating Toman since he became a cop. Even before he became a cop, he was investigating Toman, and now as a cop, he's still investigating Toman, and he finds out all this information about the two heads of Toman, who are Mikey and this other guy named Kisaki. He just kind of jumps back and forth, going on missions that are assigned to him by Naruto to save certain people to make sure that Toman doesn't become this evil organization. Long story short, Takemichi never actually grows as a character, right? Because, like I said earlier, he has these flashes, these moments of strength where he's really strong and he stands up to bullies or these people who are bullying him. She shows this great amount of strength and potential, and then right when it's done, he immediately reverts back to this like weak-minded, soft loser. So much so to the point that they literally call him the crybaby hero in the story. My problem with this anime isn't that it's not a good watch. It is good, but in comparison to what? Because if you hold up this anime to an anime, say like Steins Gate or even Erased, it doesn't hold well against those two animes. Why? Because they handle the themes of time travel way better than this anime did. If they were going to talk about gangs or delinquents or what have you, that would have been one thing. But what they're doing with this anime is they're combining the two, which is fine, but then they're not telling the story, because initially Takemichi goes back in time to help save his girlfriend Hinata from dying, and she keeps dying, and then he goes back to save other people from dying, because it switches from him saving his girlfriend to making sure that Toman doesn't become an evil entity and when it becomes like one of the biggest organizations for underground crime. Which kind of makes no sense, because the whole point of an underground crime syndicate is that it is involved with crime and the people aren't always nice. And the crazy thing is the fact that he accomplishes his goals. He ends up saving different people, and one of his missions is to become the head or one of the heads of Toman, which he does. But like I said, the problem with Takemichi is the fact that he has these moments of strength and then he reverts back to being weak. It doesn't do anything for the character. Only because if he's going to save people, he needs that strength at all times. He accomplishes these goals only to be taken out by Kisake at the end. Sucks. And the way he was taken out is just so blatantly apparent that it's going to happen, because throughout the story, one of the leaders of Toman, who people thought betrayed Toman and went to another gang called Valhalla, Baji, who's one of my favorite characters in the entire series. My three favorite characters in the story are Mikey, Draken, and Baji. They're like excellent characters. Just excellent characters when it comes to honor and pride and the concept of family and friendship and bonds that you form with family and friends. They were exemplary in showing the audience what those concepts mean. It was really hard to see characters like those three, who were brilliantly written and brilliantly acted, and then see the main protagonist being this whiny little crybaby. It was hard to see that. I don't like the character of Takemichi. I don't like characters like Takemichi, to be honest. I don't like characters like Shinji. I don't like them at all, because they don't do anything to push the story forward, because they're always doubting themselves and they're always going against the narrative. If you're going to be a hero, then be a hero. And if you're going to be an anti-hero, then be an anti-hero. But don't be a sniveling, whiny little crybaby when you have all the chances to save everybody and you have all the chances to grow as a character. That's the thing I hated the most about the series, was the fact that the protagonist, the main character, Takemichi, didn't actually grow as a character. He kind of just stayed in one space, but you kind of saw other people grow. You saw Mikey grow, you saw Draken grow, you even saw Baji grow, and you saw Baji's purpose. You know, the reason why he betrayed Toman wasn't because he actually betrayed Toman, but because he felt that there was a traitor in the midst, and he wanted to expose that traitor, and that traitor was Kisake. The crazy thing is when Baji dies, he tells Takemichi, I'm leaving them to you. You need to help them, or you need to save them. Takemichi already knows that Kisuke is the enemy because he's been told that Kisuke is the enemy multiple times by multiple people. He knows Kisuke is the problem. He knows he needs to get rid of this guy. And instead of doing that, when he comes back from one of his jaunts in time, and he comes back to the present, and the present has changed, and now he's like, you know, one of the head execs in Toman, instead of taking Kisuke out, he sits down and has drinks with the guy, which is how he ends up dying or getting shot in the head. Now, you know, my reviews aren't like other people's reviews. You know, other people's reviews tend to be more technical, and they'll give you dates and stuff like that, and when stuff is coming out and all that. No, I kind of feel that I need to tell people not to waste their time on certain animes, or not to waste their time watching certain things, or why I feel certain things are bad. It's already been slated for a second season for Tokyo Revengers. That being said, I'm a little more happy because originally I didn't think that was going to happen, and I thought this ended on a particular note. So I need to thank one of the people from my group. I'd like to give a shout out to Sharon Romero from the Black Otaku Queen anime group, because she's the one who informed me that there is going to be a second season. So I didn't feel so bad about the way it ended. Now, did I hate this anime? Not at all. I actually really liked the anime. Plot holes and story deficits notwithstanding, it was actually a pretty good anime. I know I like an anime when I sit down and binge watch it, and I watch it within a day or two. And that's literally what I did with this anime. So I definitely liked it. And once I started watching it, I couldn't stop watching it. You know, it was one of those animes. So yeah, it's definitely a good anime. But story-wise, you know, this just deficits, and it just kind of kills me. Because when I really like an anime, I want to see the characters do well. And Takemichi should not have been the character they chose to actually go handle this. I might be wrong, because, you know, in the second season, they might decide to make him like this super strong character, you know. And when I say strong, not in the sense of Goku or Naruto, but more strength in the sense of Nafumi from Rising of the Shield Hero, where, you know, it's an inner strength type thing. I think if they do that in the second season, it's going to be awesome. A lot of people already like this anime, so I'm not going to really knock the anime besides what I've already done in stating that, you know, there's deficits and holes, and, you know, there's problems with the main character. You know, the MC is the MC, and if you're going to like this anime, you're really going to like this anime, because again, there's a lot to like with the different characters. Like I said, Draken is really good, Mikey's really good, and Baji's really good. But again, those were just my favorite characters. What are your favorite characters? Have you seen Tokyo Revengers, and what do you think? Leave it in the comments below and let me know. And until next time, stay blessed, stay peaceful, and stay safe.